little bit different. We've arrived in Australia and my first couple of days has been quite relaxed, just getting over the travel and things like that. So yeah, I thought I'd post a blog covering cross training this week. I know I've done one on aqua jogging, on the watt bike, and I did promise to do one on the cross trainer and on the Ultra G, but I've just been so busy. I've totally forgot to do it. So yeah, I'll put this one out to give you a little bit of an insight into cross training this week. So for me, the cross trainer has been so crucial, coming back from such major injuries, especially after my navicular fracture in 2011 and my ankle fracture in 2015. It was just a great way to build back fitness again. Obviously, I was starting from absolutely nothing, having surgery and having a good couple of months off. The cross trainer was, I suppose, crucial in me getting back to walking again, and then eventually getting back running. So there's been different times throughout my career, I'd say, that I've used the cross trainer in different stages. Obviously from injury, it's always just been to build back up fitness, and then I've been able to introduce cross training sessions similar to what I would do in the watt bike and in the swimming pool, but it's so hard. I find it really tough in the cross trainer, and I can actually get my heart rate really high if I do the right sort of sessions. Similar to on the bike and in the pool, I find that really short reps, such as like 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, or 90 on, 30 on, things like that, really short recovery, are what allows me to keep my heart rate up high all the way through the session. I always find that on the cross trainer, it's obviously difficult to get your heart rate to what it would be outside running, but for me, on like a very steady recovery sort of cross training in the evening, I would always be around anywhere between 120 to 135. Outside, I'd probably be about 15 to 20 beats higher than that, but obviously there's no impact. But it's not something that I worry about too much. I think you're still getting the effort done, and heart and lung wise, and that's the main thing when you're supplementing your training. Obviously it's very different when you're coming back from injury. You need to be pushing a little bit harder if the injury allows you to do so, and sometimes in some of the sessions I could certainly get my heart rate up to 180, even 190 sometimes, depending on what sort of type of sessions I was doing. So again, really short intervals with short recovery. The sprint side of things, I would find that would spike my heart rate up and allow me to maintain fitness as much as I could. Definitely coming back from injury as well, it's so important to not push too hard. I've definitely been one of those people that's thought they could just go hard in the cross trainer every single day because it is an impact, and it's a scary place to be when you're trying to do sessions every single day. You just end up fatigued and tired, and it's really not the way to go about it. So you have to be sensible and almost just plan your cross training sessions around when you would typically have track sessions. So if you're training 2 days a week, then you're on the cross trainer doing sessions 2 days a week or 3 days a week. Everything else needs to be recovery in between that, because you need to allow the body to recover, especially if you're coming back from injury. The last thing you want to do is pick up another niggle. I think also it's important to look at what type of cross trainer you're using as well. I always prefer the flatbed ellipticals rather than the ones that are slanted upwards. I find the flatbed ones, I can get a quicker cadence on it, I can get my speed up, and I always quite like to keep the resistance low as well. I suppose just to focus on speed rather than the power element of it. I try to replicate my running as much as I can, even though I'm not running. So yeah, those would be my sort of top tips. I suppose one of the biggest hassles of being reliant on a cross trainer is the fact that, yeah, obviously I travel the world with training camps and races, and trying to find a cross trainer that's suitable isn't too easy sometimes. So out in Australia I've managed to find a local health club. For $50 I managed to join for the month, and they have matrix ellipticals, which I quite like, and that's the one that I'll be using in the lead up to the Commonwealth Games. Back at home I managed to buy an arc trainer second hand off of someone, so yeah, a much cheaper price than they are full, but it's a brilliant machine. It's almost, instead of it being a cross trainer or an elliptical, it's almost like a high knee motion. Unfortunately I don't have any videos with me out here in Australia, but I can post some when I get back if people are interested as to what that looks like. But yeah, I find that the elliptical sort of trainers are the ones that I prefer. I find that I can get my legs moving and my heart rate higher on those than I do on a sort of standard cross trainer. I just like the way the elliptical moves. So to say, there are a few steps when you're coming back from injury. It depends on what the injury is, but certainly for me, coming back from my ankle fracture and my foot fracture in 2011 and 2015, the first step is, once you're allowed to get into the pool and aqua jogging, and that's almost like step one on the road back to full recovery and training. Second step is then getting on a bike, so something like a walk bike, and being able to put force through a little bit more. Thirdly is finally getting onto a cross trainer, and that's when you're starting to bridge the gap between cross training and running. That's almost like the final sort of bridge towards that. And if you're very lucky, some people have access to Alter G, which I'll do another vlog on that at another time, but obviously the Alter G is quite difficult to find. There's not many of them across the country, and they're very expensive as well. So the cross trainer is a much cheaper, much easier option, and just as good to try and bridge the gap to getting back running. Aqua jogging is virtually no impact. The bike, someone said, is around 20%, and the cross trainer is obviously a little bit more than that, around about 60%. So it's a great way to bridge back to get you back running again. And I suppose once the body allows you to operate at 60%, that's when you can start pushing on a little bit more. So if you're looking for a cross trainer, there are 3 brands that I would typically recommend, ones that I use myself. The first one is a Cybex arc trainer, but they are huge. So you definitely have to have quite a large space in your house if that's something that you're going to use. They're not portable, they're very heavy, and they're also very expensive, but you can find some second-hand ones online. The second brand I would say would be the one that I'm using out here actually, is a Matrix. I'm not sure the exact specifications of it, but it is an elliptical, a flatbed elliptical. It's just a really good cross trainer, to be honest. You can get up quite good speed on it, quite good momentum, and also I don't hold onto the arms either, so I can balance quite well on that machine. It feels sturdy enough, but again, it's not very portable, it's not very compact. Finally, if you're looking for one that's for the home, a little bit more portable, compact, Proform have loads and loads of cross trainers on their website, much smaller, yeah, and much more